What your MVP should actually prove. This article is based on Chris Howard's experience working with founders, investors, and analyzing thousands of early-stage companies. His message is straightforward. Most founders focus on the wrong things when building an MVP. They chase design, features, and storytelling while ignoring the one signal investors trust the most: real behavior. Your MVP exists to show whether your solution changes behavior in the real world. Nothing else matters in the early stages. What investors look for: investors know early stage bets are risky. They want evidence they can rely on if things fall apart. Something they can point to and say, this was a reasonable decision. That's all traction is at the start, a safety layer. Most founders misunderstand this and assume traction means signups, downloads, or marketing metrics. These numbers look impressive, but prove nothing. Anyone can generate shallow engagement with ads or a polished landing page. Investors look past all of this. They want a signal that is hard to fake and tied directly to behavior. The 4 traction signals. There are 4 clear traction signals, each tied to a stage of the company's journey. Day 0. Founder fit. You can raise money with no product and no traction, but only if your past work proves you can solve extremely hard and relevant problems. Investors back you, not the product. This only works when your background gives them confidence that you can build the thing faster and better than anyone else. Pre-seed and seed, MVP behavior. This is where most founders sit. Here, the only meaningful signal is simple: users who return or refer. A user who tries your MVP once tells you nothing, but a user who comes back willingly or tells someone else to try it is a strong indicator that your solution delivers real value. This is behavior change, and it's the signal investors trust the most. Series A, customer proof. At this stage, the focus shifts from users to customers. A user is the person who consumes your product. A customer is the person who pays. Sometimes they are the same person, sometimes they aren't. Series A investors want to see customers who purchase and repurchase or bring in other customers. This shows that value is not only delivered, but monetized in a repeatable way. Series B, business model strength. Once behavior and commercial value are proven, traction becomes about margins, efficiency, and scale. By this point, the product signals should already be clear. Users versus customers. Founders often mix these two and weaken their traction story. A user is the person whose behavior changes when they interact with your product. A customer is the person who pays for that behavior change. For example, a developer using a tool is a user. The company paying for the tool is the customer. Pre-seed and seed traction is user behavior. Series A traction is customer behavior. If you show customer traction without user traction, or user traction without customer value, the story falls apart. What an MVP is really. For an MVP is not a polished version of your future product. It is not a feature list. It is not a design exercise. Your MVP is a test, a small, focused experiment designed to prove or disprove whether your solution changes behavior. If you overbuild, you delay learning. If you polish too early, you hide problems instead of finding them. The job of your MVP is to give you the earliest possible signal of whether you are solving something real. The signal that matters. Return or referral behavior change shows up in 2 places. Someone returns to use your product again, or someone tells another person to use it. These 2 signals are extremely hard to fake. Marketing can push someone to try something once. Discounts can create activity. Campaigns can create spikes. But nothing forces a person to come back unless the product solves something for them. Nothing forces a person to refer unless the value was meaningful. This is why investors treat return or referral as the core early signal. Why most MVPs fail. Most MVPs fail because founders build too much. They create something heavy, complex, and filled with features that don't matter. They spend time polishing design instead of testing behavior. By the time they put it in front of users, it's too big to learn from. They confuse building with progress. Real progress comes from testing behavior early, with the smallest version of your solution in a real environment. How to test your MVP properly. Start with a small group of people who feel the problem strongly. 2. Let them use the product in a real situation, not a demo. 3. Then measure one thing, return or referral. If the signal is strong, you have a foundation. If the signal is weak, you talk to users and adjust. 4. Ask them why they didn't return, what value they missed, and what problem wasn't solved. Their answers guide your next steps far better than any feature roadmap or internal brainstorm. Retention is truth. Retention is the cleanest early proof that your solution creates value. If people come back, the value is real. If people don't, the value isn't strong enough yet. Referrals sit on top of retention and signal deep value. Someone referring your product means their behavior changed, they believe in the solution, and they want someone else to benefit. These signals matter far more than downloads, signups, or traffic. When your MVP is investor ready, you know your MVP is ready for investors when users return without being chased, refer without incentives, and describe the value of your product in simple words. You are not ready if people disappear after one use, if you rely on discounts to keep them, or if the value is unclear. Investors don't fund opinions, they fund signals. The latter, there is a clean, predictable path. Founder Fit supports day zero rounds. Users who return or refer support pre-seed and seed rounds. Customers who purchase and repurchase support Series A. Efficient margins support Series B. Everything rests on behavior. The core message, your MVP exists to test behavior, not prove a vision. The smallest version of your solution must show the world reacts the way you expect. If people return, the test works. If they bring others, the signal is strong. If neither happens, the test tells you what to fix. This is how you build real traction and raise properly without wasting months on the wrong things. Help us to spread the message. We can only succeed in changing things if we are united. Poll time. Vote now. We'll share the results in next week's issue. All votes are anonymous. Industry Pulse, last week's poll results. Soverall, is this budget a net positive or net negative for UK startups? Rafe Founders Events, rare founders ready for chaos. Your Xmas party awaits. London's largest startup Christmas party is back, and it will be the most epic one this year. If you came last time, you know how wild it got. Santa, Secret Santa, DJs, drinks, and a raffle with stupid prizes that will make someone question their life choices. Founders, investors, operators, everyone in one room, dropping the grind for one night. The energy will be high, the mood will be loose, and the memories will be questionable. We're close to capacity already, so grab your ticket now before it turns into one in, one out at the door. If you want to sponsor the drinks or donate raffle prizes, reach out to Freya at Freya Rary Founders. Common Person Event, The Ministry, 79 to 81, Borough RD, London, SE1, 1DN, UKWED, 10 Dec, 18, 00. BS Register here, Rare Founders, building the bridge between founders and investors via regular in-person and online events, meetups, conferences,